Hello, everybody, and thank you so much for spending time with me again today. I'm very excited today to be chatting to Morgan Duarte. Morgan, please will you tell us a little bit more about your business and why you started it?
How's it, guys? Good to meet everybody. Also, just thank you for having me on your channel. I'm super excited. Just a quick, brief background story. I've always been in the creative side of things. I studied at AAA School of Advertising, and I graduated as an art director.
Mm.
So sort of started in that whole process of the digital world, the advertising world, which is extremely fierce. And to be honest, I struggled in that industry. I think I love the creative process and the creative thinking process of it. But you sort of just get stuck into the execution and being behind a laptop for many, many hours. I sort of just came to a point where I stopped creating because that's all I was doing. I was just digitally creating. And I longed to sort of get back into the art side of stuff and creating with my hands and whatever not else. So yeah, I kind of left that path of the digital world and I started purely on the art side of stuff. Um, Kept it simple, Morgan Duarte Art. I thought it was funny that the last three letters of my surname is art. So
Yes, you may as well go with that.
yeah, I just left it as that. And basically, I'm just creating as I go. I don't have a set plan. I love doing workshops. I love creating whatever I want. I feel this huge relief of freedom that I don't have to please anyone. I don't have to please a client. And well, yeah, when you get commissions, but it's still something that I love doing, even if it's a commission that is specific to color, or it's the process that I love doing and the technique of it. So I love kids. I taught art for little kiddies for a little while. I also was a teacher for a little while, but that also, my poor soul was haunted by these high kids. I was destroyed. I went in for my interview and the principal said to me, she's like, "You're way too soft. I'll give you 3 months and you'll be crying in my office." I'm a strong girl. I got this. Nevertheless, 3 months later, I was sitting there, I was crying. And I was so passionate about the art. And I really loved my students that were passionate about it. But the problem is that art in high school is also seen as a get out of free card or a fun, sort of card. So there were students that didn't take it as seriously.
Okay.
And my class became we can do whatever we can class.
Okay.
To discipline, I don't want to discipline. I want to have fun, and that's when I went into purely, I'm just teaching you art, because then we just have fun. No one is here to mark you. No one is here to tell you if it's wrong or right, or because I just feel there is no wrong way, there is no right way. It's how your brain is speaking to you. And I found that hard in a school industry where I have to sit and put a percentage on a painting. For someone, it's their creative process. I can't argue it. So that's really my drive. I'm very passionate about the little guys. I do little art classes at school, almost as an extramural, and we just have fun with paint and crafts. And sometimes I think they hate me because I just leave with everything is just such a mess. But if they're having fun with messy play, that makes my heart happy.
Yes.
So basically, that's why I started it, just to have that freedom of doing what I absolutely love, and sort of not having to fit in a box
mm,
and keep everyone else happy.
mm,
So there is a piece that I do. I like to somehow incorporate it into a workshop that I can do, because I just love sharing um, what I do. And sometimes it's not hard, and people are quite shocked with what they've created. And they're like, wow, I didn't know, I could do that.
mm,
But it's just, I think if you just let go and you're not thinking of everything, I find it extremely therapeutic.
mm,
And I can see how people that do come in for these workshops also, when they leave, they very calm, and I love chatting to them, and they sort of just open up. And I love that as well. I'm a huge empath, so
mm,
um, I love when people feel like they've gained something, not just a piece of artwork, but also something that has clicked off in their brain, that they are can be just who they are and put down whatever they want, and it will still come out beautiful.
mm,
So
mm, mm.
that's basically why I started.
I love that. I love that. Do you think that the world is maybe too obsessed with this notion of perfection, whatever that's supposed to be?
Absolutely, absolutely. I even sometimes have issues with the whole schooling, and what they must do, and they have to do it like this. Or I've had so many complaints with friends and their little ones, and with my students as well. I can just see how some children are just not in the box, and some parents will come to me and say, you know what, it's not how it's supposed to be. It's not perfect. And I was flabbergasted that even some parents are putting pressure on their kids for their art to look a certain way.
Mm,
And I don't know, because this is what they're seeing, this is what they think it should look like, even though they have no idea about art.
mm,
None of the people are creative, but they know that their kid is a talent, but they're not sort of accepting the process of letting the kid find what their creative process is. They're going to
mm,
go through so many different changes, and
mm,
their art will look different, but you have to let them explore and be proud of each section that they go through,
mm,
because those are sort of the pillar points that teach them and grow their mind into what genre, whatever it may be, even if it's
mm,
not painting, even if it's just talking or ideas or singing, dancing, movement, acting, whatever it may be,
mm,
because they are linked. They are
mm,
all linked in some
mm,
another way. You're accessing that same part of your brain.
mm,
So it is difficult, but I think the strong kids, all they need, I feel, is one person to tell them it's okay what you're doing
mm,
and keep doing. They
mm.
just need, yeah, yeah.
I love that. That's so beautiful. I wish I'd had a teacher who'd told me those things when I was little.
Yeah, I did have a teacher. She was crazy, but she was open to anything, and I absolutely loved her.
Okay.
Um, and I think that's where I always go back to. I always go back to high school, where I explored and really just opened up. Um, but sort of after my studies, going into this advertising world, it was a huge hit, and I think a huge knock to my personality. I sort of felt like I needed to be a certain way
Mm,
to fit in,
mm,
which is kind of arbitrary, because it's supposed to be an industry that is extremely open-minded, but I also find it's an industry that is extremely judgy.
mm,
So
mm,
that
mm,
I don't think I could ever grasp that.
mm,
um, And what I love about the art community is, as soon as I launched and I went onto Instagram, the support and the love is just, I don't think I've ever received a negative comment in
Mm,
anything. It's this like really huge positive community, because I think we are all like-minded and we've all been at a point where we're not happy really with what we're doing, but we're enjoying the process and it's okay.
mm,
So it's almost like a judge-free zone, I feel. And I love that about it. And that's what also motivates me and keeps me going, because
mm,
it's
mm.
crappy when people put you down. It's
Yes,
hard to, you know?
absolutely, absolutely. Creating a judgment-free zone is about the only way you can teach people, you know.
Yeah,
If
100.
we feel judged from any direction, then we're paralyzed to act.
Yes, yes. It sort of just shuts your brain down. I think that it's almost like, in my vision, it's like the rainbow is just collapsed and all the colors are melting away
Oh,
when
I love
some.
that. You're talking my language.
Yeah, yeah, yes, yes.
I totally get
But
that analogy.
yeah.
So what crafts do you enjoy teaching kids the most?
Well, I love paint. I mean, paint is my first and my foremost. Paint and
Okay.
color. And at that age, I feel um, that they just cannot believe that they've created this new color,
Mm,
and the way they look at it, and when they're mixing them all together, it's just in their you can almost see it, the wheels are turning when all these colors are coming together. So
yes,
I love I love doing the painting side of things,
yes.
um, especially with this sort of, I want to say 3 to 5. The 6 and up, I love, instead of doing the typical art where I'm putting fruit on a table and telling you to draw it, I prefer to, and that's where I don't 100% hate my digital background. So I incorporate a little bit of the creative thinking. And
Mm,
what I like to do is create things where they have to think of something brand new that doesn't exist, and then they need to add to it. So, what would it look like? What would a logo look like with it? What
mm.
would your colors be? So, it's almost like they're inventing something completely new. And when they have done it, then they fall in love with it because they can't believe that they just created this new cool thing. So,
It
uh,
sounds like so much fun. I want to do it too. Can I play?
yes, yes. Look, I'm new, so I'm trying to get out there, and I think, all these new workshop ideas are going to be very exciting with this new year. Obviously, there has been a little bit of holdback with COVID and everything that is going on, but we are opening up, and my studio isn't very big, so my classes are limited, but I like it that way. I like that it can be personal, and you can talk to me, and I'm not sort of just, there's like,
Mm,
50 people and you can't get my attention.
mm,
I like,
mm,
giving the attention. And if you feel like there's a problem or a mistake
mm,
that you've done, you don't know how to solve it, I love helping people solve it in a creative way that they thought, oh no, I've just messed this whole thing up.
mm, mm.
You know, I, I
So,
do feel like there's mistakes.
so how do you deal with that in a creative way? What does that look like? Because as a teacher, I know that moment where, maybe the kid next door has spilled paint all over this other kid's project, and now you have to deal with the fallout. What do you do?
Yes, because that kid is having a meltdown, number one, because they are, this is a story that is in line with that. I had a student, and he's like very perfectionist. He used to struggle at getting perfect lines, and he used to cry. He used to get so
Mm,
emotional, so frustrated. And what had happened is he was trying to paint a certain object and he couldn't get it right. And then what happened is he knocked over his paint and it ruined the whole thing.
Okay.
And he had this huge meltdown.
Okay.
I had to put him down and I had to talk to him. His name was Connor. And I said to him, okay, you've messed. It's happened. It's
Yes.
done. Okay. We don't have to completely start over because there are parts of your painting that are still there. But the part that you were struggling with is where the mess is. So let's wipe this mess clean. Let's get rid of it. Let leave your brain because it's gone now. It's happened. Maybe it happened for a reason. You needed to just brush over it with another color. I'm going to wait for that base to dry, gather your thoughts,
Yes.
and we're going to go back and we're going to draw that same object.
Okay.
And he went, and after clearing his mind, he was almost a little looser. I don't know what happens when you make a mistake. It's almost like, okay, well, it happened and I'm going to create another thing over it. And once you see that thing coming together that you are creating over your mistake, it's like a boost of confidence and you almost don't feel as scared to make a mistake. So I feel like you're a little bit more looser with your strokes. It's not as rigid. So I think it's a conversation. It's just a conversation that you need to have. I feel like as creative people, adults and kids are extremely emotional beings. and it's almost like our world ends when you can't create what is in your mind.
Yes.
When you can't in your mind on paper, it's the most frustrating thing in the whole world.
Yes.
And when you're alone and you're creating alone in your studio, you can't really have that conversation, or someone else can't have a conversation with you. But I enjoy having to help kids in that creative solution, in that sense. And it almost becomes a life lesson, I feel.
That's what I wanted to say. It's a life skill.
Yeah, because even if you've gone home and you've made a mess up on, I don't know, your homework, or you made a mess on, I don't know, muffins that you made, or, that's fine. Let's create something else. Mush it up and make cake pops, or, take the frosting and just create ice toppers and freeze them for another cake. I feel like there's always a solution to anything.
Yes. Oh, I love that. I love that. And it's so wonderful that you're teaching that to children. How can we get your message to every child around the world?
Well, one child at a time.
Oh, that's awesome. So, Morgan, what is your favorite part of your job?
Walking into my studio, barefoot, sometimes still in my jammies, my cup of coffee, putting on my music, and drifting off into a space that I'm not thinking of all of this horrible, negative things that are going on around the world. I don't have anyone else that is in my ear. I don't have any other negative Nancy that's making comments. I can just be free. And I am very grateful that I get to do that. Look, by no means has it always been like that. You still got to bring the bacon home. There's still aspects of it, but I do appreciate that I can, in that space and in that time, create something that I do get to sell after. Yeah, it's that moment. It's that moment that I love, that feeling that, and it's addictive. It's very addictive. And sometimes I don't even tell anyone. It happens. I'm sure something happens and you have this urge and you need to go and do it straight away. And my husband would come in the studio. He's like, "What are you doing?" Like I was like, "I'm sorry. I mixed the colors. I've got to put it down." So it's like,
Yes.
and can you just let me know? I'm like, sorry. It's just carried away. Yeah.
Uh, days later, they have to send in a search party for you.
Yeah. Send some food under the door.
I love that. I love that. I've been there before. Totally, totally love that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, Morgan, if anybody is looking for you online, oh, that's the other thing I wanted to ask you. Where's your studio?
I'm based in Boxburg in
Okay,
Atlas Falls. We
okay,
sort of border Melanie. There's
okay,
one road separates us. So
okay,
that's where I'm based in Boxburg/Benoni.
okay. And if anybody would like to get hold of you, how can they find you?
Sure. You can WhatsApp me on 079 491 0811. You can pop me an email at morganduarteart@gmail.com. You can find me also on Facebook at Morgan Duarte Art. Also on Instagram, same link at Morgan Duarte Art. And I do some fun videos on TikTok, also at Morgan Duarte Art.
Okay, awesome. And I will include all of those links in the description to this video when I upload it. So thank you so much for that wonderful conversation, Morgan. You've totally inspired my inner child today, and I think that others who are watching are going to feel the same.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And I love following you as well. You are one busy, busy lady. So
Thank
happy
you.
to be part of all the groups, and really just dive into the community that is,
Okay.
because we do have an awesome community.
Yeah, yeah. Are you enjoying the groups? Are they useful to you?
Yes, yes, I am. I really am. I really, really am enjoying it.
Okay, okay. It's quite interesting because when I built the groups a few years ago, I was like, "Oh, I'm not sure what this is about," but they're starting to do stuff, which is very, very interesting. So I'm enjoying that a lot.
Yes, they're starting to network. I
Yes,
love that.
yes.
And eventually, well, you probably are doing it anyways. I saw with the needle, needle meetup.
Mm,
So, I'm down for that. Have a meetup with the liner, and
mm.
have a meetup with this one and that one. I really am
Okay,
in
maybe that's an idea because we're not doing that for the craft group yet. So maybe we can do some projects.
yes,
Oh, that'll be fun.
yes,
Okay, so when
yes.
we finish this interview, we'll talk about that further.
Awesome, awesome,
Okay.
super cute.
Yeah. Have a lovely day.
You too. Thank you. Cheers.